What's up, team? I'm former United States Army Ranger Joshua Thompson. In this video, I'll be going over some of the pros and cons of the 75th Ranger Regiment, as well as special operations as a whole based on my own experience. So stick around and watch the video from start to end so that if you guys are going to RASP, are going to special operations, you can make the most informed decision on what you want to do in the future. If you guys want to hear more topics like this, subscribe so you guys don't miss out on content like that in the future. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the support so far. This is only the beginning. But with that said, let's get into it. So first I'll be going over the pros. I'll be doing some of the major stuff that I've observed, and then I'll be going over the cons of what I believe some of the major drawbacks when it comes to special operations and in particular the 75th Ranger Regiment. The biggest pro in my opinion is that when you join the 75th Ranger Regiment, the biggest pro is that you're going to be able to actually do your job that you actually signed a contract for. For reference, I was a 35 Fox, which is an intelligence analyst. I text a lot of back and forth with some people I went to AIT with, and it turns out a lot of the times when they go to the big Army units, it turns out they don't actually do intel. They don't do their job. They go to the motor pool, they go get attached to some infantry unit and do some other stuff where they fill in the gaps. Sometimes they get assigned to a shop job because they have a TS, and the shop job in particular needs someone who has a TS access, and so they get put in those positions where they're not actually gaining experience and not actually doing their job. And so it's really unfortunate to hear, but that's one of the biggest pros for me. When you join the 75th Ranger Regiment, you're going to do your job, you're going to do meaningful work, you're going to grow and experience in your particular MOS so much faster than a normal soldier in the big army. It's not even funny. You're actually going to do the badass shit that you signed up to do. The second biggest pro that the 75th Ranger Regiment provides that kind of differentiates from other soft units is that it has more stability than some of the other special operations units. You hear it all the time when someone joins SF, becomes a SEAL, whatever, that it's a single man's game. And it's very much true. If you have relationships outside the military, those relationships are going to suffer significantly. But when it comes to the 75th Ranger Regiment, it's kind of mitigated a little bit. I wouldn't say to a significant degree. You're still deploying all the time. You're still doing trainings, whatever. But what differentiates the 75th Ranger Regiment is their deployments, their training cycles, they're a lot shorter. And also people who join the 75th Ranger Regiment are going to be in the 75th Ranger Regiment for a longer period of time. Right? You're not going to move around every 2 years in PCS like a lot of individuals in the big army. You're not going to do that. If you're lower enlisted, you can stay in regiment for basically your whole career. We have what's called charter time in the 75th Ranger Regiment, where they make you leave. It's not necessarily because you got RFS. I think it's around when you're a first sergeant or a master sergeant. The idea is where Rangers go back out to the big army. They help raise the standards of the unit they go off to. This unit becomes better as a result, and then they come back from their charter time, and then this unit is better off because this Ranger helped elevate and raise their standards. But overall, you can basically stay in regiment your entire career, especially if you're lower enlisted. But obviously, this isn't the case when you're an officer. You're only going to do your 2-year term and then split. And then another one of the biggest pros, at least for me, is that you're always going to be surrounded by high-performance individuals. You're going to have people who are going to push you to be better every single day. And it's not just the Rangers, right? You also have knowledgeable, incredibly smart, incredibly talented contractors working close with the 75th Ranger Regiment that'll bestow upon you the knowledge that you need for your MOS. So this is another aspect that helps you grow way faster than you would ever experience in the big army. So with a combination of high performance leaders within regiment's ranks and these high performance contractors, as a result, you're going to develop a lot faster, not only when it comes to your job, but as well as PT performance and just life in general. Obviously, another pro, you're going to be in killer shape. You're going to do PT every single morning with Rangers. So you're going to be in incredible shape. I would say that the risk of injury is a little higher, yes, but if you're in good hands of a good team leader, good squad leader, they're going to make sure that you're stretching properly and doing everything you can to prevent injury. Another pro is that you have access to the Army's best resources. The 75th Ranger Regiment has a way bigger budget when it comes to their soldiers. You're going to have the best physical performance trainers in the industry. You're going to have the best education counselors when it comes to your education. You're going to have the best equipment and facilities available to you. Additionally, you get some of the best equipment, right? You get issued thousands of dollars worth of equipment. They say it in RASP all the time. Candidates, you're going to be issued thousands of dollars worth of equipment. Lock your lockers. And another pro, I see this as a pro. Some people may not see this as a pro, but you're almost guaranteed to deploy. A lot of people can see this as a con, but I personally love deployments. First of all, you can't get taxed. Your schedule is super structured. When I was overseas, it was almost right after Ranger School. It's where I gained back all the weight that I lost when I was in Ranger School. It got me back on a structured schedule. It was really good for me. The funny thing is, coming back from a deployment and not really knowing what to do because you have all this free time all of a sudden, maybe that's a negative, I don't know. So this leads me to some of the cons when it comes to the 75th Ranger Regiment, and obviously this overlaps into a lot of special operations units. The first being the risk of injury is extremely high. It's no surprise that being a Ranger is very physically demanding, and it's not just like the schools where you're going through Ranger School or RASP, where you're taking knees in the Ranger School all the time, going through airborne, doing airborne operations, having that risk of injury there. But that high demand for physical performance can lead to a lot of injuries. There were a lot of Rangers that I know personally who've ended their careers, a lot of Rangers that I've heard about who've ended their careers through injury. It's a very physically demanding job, and so because there's a higher demand for physical performance when it comes to being a Ranger in special operations, there's a higher risk to injury. Another con, training in special operations, deploying, all this stuff takes away from your relationships outside the military. Special operations as a whole, it doesn't matter whether 75th Ranger Regiment has shorter deployments or not. Statistically, across the boards, you are statistically likely to get divorced. So obviously it's more for those individuals who are more career driven. That's why they call it a single man's game. And then the last con, something I don't think gets talked about enough in the SOF community, is the damage to your mental health. You know, going on deployments, going through combat, even just being involved in some high stakes decision making, being away from your family, this can all be extremely detrimental to your health. You might have been this extremely motivated Ranger, extremely motivated SOF member when you first initially started, going through selection, proving yourself when you got to the unit, but over time, you got a family, you got married, all this stuff can change your why you're motivated to do the things that you're trying to do. And just because you're a SOF member, this doesn't make you exempt or anything. Suicide is a huge problem, not just in the 75th Ranger Regiment, but SOF, in the SOF community across the board, right? Active duty, veteran, it doesn't matter. You know, everyone's a tough guy, but in reality, you know, everyone struggles with this stuff, even me, when I was going through. I mentioned earlier that the 75th has some of the best resources when it comes to not just your physical performance, but your mental state. I'm sure the other SOF communities have resources like that as well. If you're watching this and you're struggling right now, if you're definitely feeling like that, you know, definitely reach out. Special operations as a whole can be one of the most amazing and fulfilling jobs that you'll ever have. Knowing that you did what other people won't ever be able to experience in their life is extremely rewarding. But it is one of the most physically and mentally demanding jobs that there is. You have to be an extremely career-driven person in order to make it in the SOF community. That's why there's a selection, and that's why it's not for everyone. So it's important that not only yourself as an individual, that you understand that what you're getting into and you're prepared for it, but your family members, your friends, your girlfriend, people who are outside the military, who are going to experience this gap that you left, that they are prepared for that as well. So that's going to do it, guys. If you guys found this video informative in any way, hit the like button to support the channel. Comment down in the comment section if you guys thought I missed anything or would like to add something. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.